بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. Maqasid Sharia and modern challenges. So today's lesson will be regarding Maqasid Sharia and modern challenges. This section tackles some of the modern challenges. These challenges in terms of Maqasid Sharia necessitate confronting and solving. They are as follows. First one is globalism. More institutions. Should we have more institutions or not? Unity, is that important or not? Reform and renewal, what does that entail? Ijtihad and Maqasid al-Sharia. So globalism is a reality where most of humanity today is its fabric and part of it. So globalism, this reality, has allowed the geographical regions to connect. What globalism has done has brought all the geographical regions together through fast travel and speedy connectivity. Sending and receiving information. Recent IT breakthroughs are a witness of that reality. So we cannot do away with globalism. So globalism itself is there evident. Then what we have, the mainstream and social media help shape up the human thought, their development and aspiration. And mainstream as well as social media, these are the products of globalism. Okay, we have become into a global village. Okay, the fast communication of information has allowed people to know and judge about events. The problem is that everyone has now become a philosopher. Everyone has become a judge. Everyone, whatever he receives, whether it's fake news or not fake news, whatever he receives and comes on his hands, he starts making his comments about it. Yes? So that is the reality that we are living in today's world. And this has allowed a proliferation in ideas, thoughts and creativity. This has allowed multiplication of ideas, multiplications in terms of thought, and also people have become more creative and evolving. Oh, mashallah. I was just thinking about you. We are talking about something very important, globalism. Yeah? Huh? Yes. So I'll just sum it up what I said just now. I said about globalism becoming a reality, and we are part and parcel of that. And that has allowed geographical regions to connect with each other. And IT has played a great role in trying to bring everybody together. And people, they have become judgmental about things. All the events that are put in front of them, they have tried to comment about it. Yes, social media, you find that is everybody becomes a philosopher, everybody becomes a judge. So that is a reality that we are living in, and that has allowed also the multiplication in terms of ideas, and also it has allowed thoughts and creativity to multiply as well. So in other words, globalism is a reality that is there, and we are living in that reality. So there is what we call globalization as well. Yes, globalism. Globalism is that reality in which the whole world tries to come together. Yes, globalization is that effort to try to do that. Yes, so what we find is that this has allowed the ideas to come into existence. An evolving reality of globalism, a globality fueled by globalization, can be seen through the lens of Maqasid Sharia. It's important that we look at globalism from the lens of Maqasid Sharia to understand in reality how to tackle it, how to also solve the problems that it can bring. The jurists understood such social dynamics that are outside the parameters of human control. The jurists did understand. These are realities that come into existence. The jurists, the fuqaha, understood that there are things that you cannot control. They're outside the human control, because look, the technology has advanced, everyone starts embracing that technology. You can't say no to that technology. I'm sorry, inshallah, if you can just share, I will inshallah get more. So I'll give you this once we finish, inshallah. So in terms of globalism, that is also a part of this social dynamics, yes? And the fuqaha did understand that these types of dynamics, social dynamics, are outside the human control. They just develop because everyone, like for example, when Facebook came, yes, Facebook came, it was just a small little cluster of people, and then it just grew, and it started growing faster and faster. Everyone starts embracing it. Yes, yes. YouTube came, everybody started embracing it, and then you have so many users. Yes, you know, with Facebook, it's more than 1 billion users, isn't it? Yes. So they understood the reality of change in time, place, people, and circumstances, which often led to the change in injunctions. Yes, as the time changes, the place changes, the injunctions also could change according to that. Yes, globalism is a reality that has been embraced by all. Globalism is a reality that everybody has embraced, all the countries. There's no one who has not embraced that. And anyone who does not embrace is isolated, isn't it? That country becomes isolated. Now, internet, you can have access to internet anywhere you are in the world, yes? And not only anywhere you are in the world, even if you're traveling by bus from Dundee to, say for example, London, you will have Wi-Fi availability, true? Yes? If you're in a coffee shop, they will say free Wi-Fi because they know very well that you want to connect with other people around the world. So it is a reality. In this package, there is, in the package of globalism, there is good and bad. True or false? Yes? When we are going into this globality or globalism, and you know, when we are coming together, obviously the humanity is uniting itself, but sometimes it can also be a recipe for humanity rather than uniting hatred. Yes, internet can also be a tool where hatred can be spread and so on. So there is also good and bad in that. Yes, what is good can be embraced. What is good, obviously people with that good, say for example, somebody is putting their good nasiha advice, somebody is putting their, somebody is saying good words to other people. Yes, Allah says in the Quran, لا خير في كثير من نجواكم إلا من أمر بصدقة أو معروف أو إصلاح بين الناس. In your private gossipings there are no good. Yeah, there is no good apart from the good that is found in those people who command to do sadaqah. Yes, and command to do good things, and also they do reconciliation between people. They do what? They reconcile between people. So sometimes it could be an instrument to bring humanity together, which that's a good thing, which Allah has mentioned. Or it can be a tool of creating hatred, or of creating divisions. Yes? It can be also a divisive tool. This is what we have to remember. So what is good can be embraced, whilst what is bad can be discouraged. Maqasid Sharia, how does it play its role? Plays a role in judging what is in best interests of humanity and help them guide towards what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. Because obviously in this globalism, it is, you have the exchange of ideas, you have the exchange of what? Of cultures, yes? People start embracing someone else's culture. You have also the exchange of character, yes, akhlaq. You have so many exchanges that happen, and because of this, sometimes you find people who were behaving nicely all of a sudden start behaving completely wrongly because of the fact that they are embracing other people's identities or other people's culture, which might not be compatible to their geographical culture, or sometimes they are embracing the habits of people who are wrong, you know, who do not have any guidance from Allah Ta'ala, and like for example someone using FF words. I'm giving an example. He embraces that FF word. He doesn't know the meaning of it, the consequences of it, and the evil behind it. So through the exchanges that they are having, sometimes they could be embracing good things or bad things. Maqasid Sharia comes to play in trying to guide us. Yes, it shows us that what is the best in human interest and help guide them towards what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. It can help in different fronts, guiding the Muslim masses in terms of their virtual interactions with others. That's one front. The other front, helping institutions with internet policy making. Maqasid plays a great role. Yes, when you come to internet policy, you know that orienting them to what is better for them to read and watch and what is not. Yes, sometimes you have to give warnings. Yes, that this is not good for you to watch because there is violence, there is this and that. Because when a person watches about violence, sometimes he ends up adopting it. Yes, sometimes if he doesn't have guidance from Allah, ends up adopting that type of violence. Yes. So Maqasid Sharia plays that role. Just as globalism has the power to bring the people together, as I said, yes, it has also the potential to disunite them, to divide them, and fuel violence and hatred. True? Yes? A Maqasid-oriented scholar should be able to read warning signs beforehand and allow the best course of action by orienting the masses beforehand how to gear away from the harms on how to realize benefits from media. True? Yes. Not all the media content out there is beneficial. Okay. Other contents are harmful and they need responses. Yes. If there is a harmful content, then you need a response for that. The Islamophobic content out there, for example, those contents are to create hatred and promote violence at worst, and hurt the feelings of the Muslims at best. Yes, either they're there to cause problems, to create violence and so on, or that's at worst. At best, it hurts the feelings of the Muslims. Maqasid Sharia grants us the ability of how to safeguard the welfare of our Muslim masses, yes, and how better counteract such threats. Similarly, the contents that are used by some Muslim individuals to create discord and disunity amongst the Muslims themselves are just as harmful. Rather than realizing benefits, they realize harms, thus going against the intents of the lawgiver. Yes, they must be discouraged, as such contents only hurt more than benefiting anyone. The Prophet ﷺ says, Al-Muslimu man salima an-nasu min lisani wa yadihi, wal-mu'minu man aminahu an-nasu ala dima'ihim wa amwalihim, rawahu Tirmidhi. This is a Sahih hadith. It is narrated from the Prophet ﷺ, where the Messenger of Allah ﷺ states, a Muslim is he from whose tongue and hand other Muslims are safe, and a believer is he from whom people are in safety concerning their blood and wealth. The above narration also includes one's virtual life. Yes, behind the virtual life, people become the evilest of evil. Yes, and in real life with others, they are the angelic beings than anyone else. That shouldn't be the case. Yes, and interactions with others on social media and his actions of either providing online or so. Yes. The above narrative also includes one's virtual life and also includes interaction with others on social media and his actions of either providing online and social media safety for other users or harming them instead. So people can do both ways, but this hadith also includes your virtual life. That's what you have to remember. Therefore, any criticism should be constructive. Yes, there's nothing wrong in employing criticism if you think there is need for it, but it has to be constructive, yes, which can have the potential to realize great benefits and not detrimental that causes more disunity and hampers reform. Is that okay? Creating more institutions. Again, this is part of the maqasid and masalih for the ummah to try to create more institutions. More institutions means more stability. More institutions means more you have it's not only istiqrar, stability, but also welfare of people and so on and so forth, and improves also the quality of the people's lifestyle. So it is important for the Muslims to bring about more institutions, educational institutions, welfare institutions, all different types of institutions that can help. Yes, institutions that are to do with tarbiyah, financial, Islamic financial institutions. All these institutions should come into existence. Solid foundation in the Muslim community is realized by having strong institutions that ensure social, economic, educational, and political welfare of the Muslims. These institutions ensure the well-being of the Muslim masses. They do not only represent them, but they also strengthen them and help them. These institutions, they are representing the Muslims. These institutions, they are not only representing the Muslims, they are there to help the Muslims, and also they are there to strengthen the Muslims and to empower them. Yes? True? The Prophet ﷺ says, إِنَّ الْمُؤْمِنَ لِلْمُؤْمِنِ كَالْبُنْيَانِ يَشُدُّ بَعْضُهُ بَعْضًا وَشَبَّكَ أَصَابِعَهُ رَوَاهُ الْبُخَارِي. The Prophet ﷺ says, verily, a believer to a fellow believer is like a building. Each part reinforcing the other, and he interlaced his fingers. Interlaced fingers, can you see? It becomes more stronger when you put them together. Institutions ensure social stability and development and move people to the right direction. Douglas North, I've just quoted the person here, describes them because he's a person who is an expert in the field of institutions and creation of institutions. He says institutions are the rules of the game in society, or more formally, are the humanly devised constraints that shape human interaction. The ingredients of institutions are that they are humanly devised, which contrasts with other potential fundamental causes like geographical factors, which are outside human control. Number two, that they are the rules of the game, setting constraints on human behavior. See, human behavior, if you have institutions, say for example, you have law enforcement institutions, yes? They are there to also play with the human behavior in terms of, people sometimes, if they are wronged, yes, people will react, isn't it? And if they know that there is law there is, there is what you call hisba in the Islamic classical period, you know very well that somebody is there to look into your affairs, to try to get everything. There was the office, in the previous Muslim environments, they used to have also, the institutions of Radul Madalimi, where if there was any, dhulm against anyone, they would take it to, obviously, people in charge. So all these institutions are there. They're the constraints that regulate the human behavior. Otherwise, the human behavior can come out of all these constraints and become completely an anarchy, yes, which is detrimental. So having institutions, in other words, creates stability. More institutions, more stability. Understood? Yes. And they are the rules of the game, setting constraints on human behavior, and that their major effect will be through incentives. It also gives you incentives as well. Is that yes? The incentives are the benefits that are realized by their existence. Therefore, promoting the creation of different institutions in Muslim society is important. Alhamdulillah, we have also charities here, isn't it? Helping in other countries. These are institutions. These are organizations. When talking about institutions, we are also talking about organizations, and they're helping to build the lives of the Muslim community, which is very important. Yes? Having institutions strengthens the societal structure, as the narration above encourages us. The hadith encourages us what? That we should have a strong societal structure, which happens by helping each other. وَتَآمَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى. Help each other, as Allah says, on goodness and on taqwa. Encourages to realize societal strength using all different means available. Yes, and also the hadith there, that narration tells us that we can use all different means possible to realize that, and one of them is by creating more institutions. Yes, unity. We're talking about unity. Almost all pillars of Islam call for unity between the Muslims. If you look at all the pillars of Islam, they are all calling for the unity between the Muslims. Take for example salah, prayers. Yes, you can perform them at home. Is that true or false? Yes, but the reward is in praying together in the mosque. Why? Because, and also the Friday prayers, the Eid prayers, these are all contributive to the unity of Muslims, and this is the reason why the lawgiver has made sure that you do your prayers together. Yes, because that will ensure what? It will ensure the creation of unity as well. Zakat is another institution which promotes love and unity between different classes of people. Like for example, there is that gap between the poor and rich, and that gap through zakat, institutions of zakat, and also sadaqah, that gap can be restricted, or can, rather than widening, it can be brought together. Yes, and it also promotes socio-economic justice. Hajj is another pillar that brings the Muslim masses together, irrespective of their color, race, language, and schools of law that they follow. True, unity is important, however, conformity is not. To be conformed, yes, to be united is important in deen. But conformed, no. Because Sharia has allowed you not to be conformed, has allowed diversity of opinions. Yes, this is the reason why once the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, they happened to go somewhere, and some of them, they decided that we should pray Salatul Asr on the way rather than delaying it up to our destination and pray and do Jama'at Ta'khir, combining the prayers. Others, they said, no, because we are in the state of travel, and the state of travel is the state of mashaqqa, yes, therefore let's ease the burden, because if you stop, everyone has to go toilet, everyone has to do wudu, and that takes time. Then you have to call everybody, and then you pray salah. By the time you do all this stuff, it will lengthen the journey time, and also is more tiring. True. So some of them, they thought, okay, no, we will go to the destination and pray. And those who wanted to pray on their way, they found that at least the burden, yes, the legal burden, because it's a legal burden to fulfill salah, has already been relieved. So you feel more fresh. Once you prayed salah, you feel comfortable, and then you can carry on. Yes. So there was this difference of opinion among the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. So the Prophet ﷺ, when this was brought to the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ said, everyone has done their own ijtihad, everyone is right. Yes, everyone is right. So unity is important, but conformity, to conform for everybody to become just one under one opinion, that is, if it is achievable, that is good. But if it's not achievable, that's not important. But unity is important at all times. Is that okay? Yes. Somebody might be following a different school of law in terms of something. Yes. And other will follow a different school. As we have one scenario that the fuqaha have painted, known as Faqidut Tahurain. Have you heard of that before? Faqidut Tahurain is a state where the person does not find the water to do wudu, neither he finds any substance that is tayammumable, and he is not able to do tayammum. So he is, like for example, he happened to be going, he went astray whilst he was crossing the Mexico border, and he was taken into this room for interview, and that room is made of, it's a metal, say for example, it is just a metal compartment that they've called him in. Now, he can't do tayammum and he wants to read salah, yes? So, and there is no water availability there as well. So this is known as faqidut tahurain. He's in that state, yes? So what should he do, faqidut tahurain, when he doesn't have neither water nor any item that he can do tayammum with? All the madhabs have differed. Yeah. Now it happened that all these 4 people, why? Because we don't have anything clear cut from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. All these 4 people, they were following different madhabs. Say for example, right? They're friends, yes? One was following the Hanafi madhab, the other one is Shafi madhab, the other one is Maliki madhab, the other one is Hanbali madhab. All of them are there. So one madhab says, like for example, the Shafi madhab, yes, might be a bit stricter. You will say that pray salat there and then without wudu, and also do qada, yeah? So this is a state we call na'am, yes? Yes. There's another one which is more relaxed. It says you don't need to pray salah there, neither you need to do qada, because that was the hour for salah and you didn't have so you don't need to. That is the most relaxed, yes? Then the other one is no, do pray salah without wudu, and then you don't need to do qada. The Hanafi madhab says no, don't pray salah there, but later on do qada of it. Yes? So you find this all following their own, say for example, madhab, but still they're friends, yes? Yes, so unity is important, but conformity sometimes is not achievable.
I've heard that even if it's just any surface that you can find to rub your palms, that would also suffice for tayammum as well. So in that scenario, would
the substance, not any surface. You can't do on a plastic. You can't do here. You can't do tayammum here. Now you happen to be, say for example, on this metal container. Yes, and you're waiting for interview and all this stuff. Metal container, everything is metal. Yeah, yeah. And usually they want to keep all these things like metal because it's like it's easier, yes, movable and all this stuff. So you're inside there, you can't touch anything, and you can't come out of that room because you have to be interviewed there. If you say, okay, can I come out? They'll say, no, stay here until you're interviewed. It's a state, isn't it? Yeah. And say, for example, if a person has been handcuffed. So he is in the state that he is unable to do either wudu. Yes? I'm just giving an example. So he has to read salah, isn't it? Yes? So what should you do? There might be water there, right? But with handcuff, he cannot even, and they will not allow you. They will not say, no, you have to wait until you're interviewed, because we don't know whether you were, just crossing the Mexican border and entering into USA, for example, right? Legally or illegally, we have to interview you before we release you. Huh? So you're in handcuff, water is available, but you can't do tayammum as well. How will you manage to do tayammum? Impossible. So this is a state known as fuqdan at-tahurain. Is that understood? So conformity may not be achievable. Unity is important. Yes. Unity is important. Yes. Diversity in opinions on secondary issues, is tolerated by the lawgiver. I've already given the example of that. That difference of opinion should never allow us to forego unity. Okay? Just because of this diversity, people make a big issue out of it. That's not allowed. If that happens, that will mean opposing the intents of the lawgiver, who has emphasized time and time again on unity. Ulama need to be aware of the dynamics that cause disunity and try to eradicate them to their best ability, to their best ability, you can say that. In areas where they need to discuss with each other concerning issues that they differ. Sometimes ulama do come together to discuss on issues that they differ. They need to maintain etiquettes of disagreement. And what is that? Known as adabul khilaf. What is it known as? Adabul khilaf in mind. Reforming is possible when there are healthy discussion, friendly exchanges between disagreeing parties. Say for example, two parties are disagreeing, yes? Say for example, it is a new ijtihad, yes? When should we pray Salatul Fajr, yes, in summer, yes? Should we pray at 1:30 or should we pray at 2:30 or should we, no, pray right near the sunrise, yes? When should we close the fast in summer, in this country I'm talking, yeah? When there is no night, yes? So you have two parties, one, yes? So they have to sit down and talk, isn't it? Yes, between themselves and to iron the differences. But that should be through taking adabul khilaf in mind and have healthy discussions to come to that conclusion. Therefore, we will be talking more about that in ijtihad. We are going into ijtihad soon. Reform and renewal. Many times you hear the word islah and tajdeed. Do you hear that quite a lot? Reform is al-islah, yes, is a word that every ideological group wants to claim and use. Yes, every group that is ideologically driven wants to claim and use it. The liberal and progressives, yeah, the liberals and progressive might use it to advance their agenda. On the other hand of the spectrum, the extremist ideology, yes, uses the same reason to push their thought down the people's throat. Sometimes you find they will say, no, we are doing Islah. Yes, as Allah says in the Quran, yes, when they are told, La tufsidu fil ard. What they are told? La tufsidu. They say, no, we are not doing fasad. Innama nahnu muslihun. We are doing Islah. Yes, so Islah is such a word, right, that even the good people who are ought to do Islah and they're doing Islah, they're using it, which is a correct usage. Yes, yes. And those people who are not doing Islah but they're creating more corruption, they're also using it. True? So it's a very misused word. Allah has mentioned in the Quran. Is that true or false? Yes. They're doing fasad, but they're saying, no, we're doing Islah. So Islah is used by everyone. The reform of these two groups is banning the... Now, when they're using Islah, the group which is very liberal, over-facilitating, yes, the group that is calls itself progressive, and the other group that is very extreme, yes, and very strict and extremist, when they're using the word reform, yes, what it really means is bending the text or representing them to suit their agendas and their motives, and their motives are more ulterior than sincere. If you look in reality and you probe into them, you find that what they're doing in reality, they are bending the text to suit their agenda. Yes? Oh brother, you're not allowed to commit such an act. It's completely haram. All the scholars have said that no. Yes? They'll try to find somewhere an excuse to we've seen recently, isn't it? I don't want to go into the details. Yeah. So the motives are more ulterior than sincere. They're not sincere in reality. There are other motives behind driving it. While the mainstream Orthodox Muslim, when you're talking Orthodox, please, what we're talking is mainstream. Yes, the word Orthodox here is what? Mainstream. Just be a bit, yes. Are the voice of moderation in this regard, and their path is the straight one. So, as-sawad al-azam, yes, the ummah, yes, the ummah in its entirety, taking other people on the other extremes, on both extremes of the spectrum, the ummah that is right in the middle, they are on as-sirat al-mustaqim, on the path of moderation. Yes, they have an uphill struggle in relation to Islam. Now they have a very they also want to do Islah, isn't it? Because they want to win the hearts of those people who are on this side, and also they want to win the heart of the other people on that side, and to bring them what? To the path of moderation. They are also doing Islah. Yes, the ones on that path, they're saying they're doing Islah, but in reality they're calling people to go further out of Sirat al-Mustaqim. Yes, the people on the other side, yes, on the other side, which is more liberalizing, they are also using the word Islah to try to call the people as well towards there. So those who are in the middle, yes, in fact they're the majority, to bring other people, they're also using Islah. That's the correct usage of it. But they have an uphill struggle because they have to use that side and that side to pull people and to bring them to the right path. Yes. So what their Islah entails, yes, of the mainstream Muslim community, their reform entails going back to the original sources of religion, as the goodness is in that. Going back to the Quran and Sunnah, because Sirat al-Mustaqim in reality is what? Any flight from the path of the pious predecessors, Salaf al-Salihin, and the original texts of Islamic law, yes, is deviation. The hand of Allah is with the mainstream group, as it's authentically narrated. Imam Malik says, هذه أمتي إلا بما سلوا, unless it adopts the reformed way, yes, unless it adopts the reformed, it shouldn't be what shouldn't be there, sorry, the reformed ways of its early part. Reform, Islah and renewal. There's another word which is Islah and Tajdeed. Do they mean the same or not? There is a group of scholars, they say that Islah equals renewal, revival, renewal, Tajdeed. Others, they say no, there is a slight difference between Islah and Tajdeed. There is a slight difference between reform and renewal. Reform, and which is Islah in Arabic, and renewal, which is Tajdeed, are sometimes seen by some scholars as being synonymous to each other, while others state that there is a difference between both the words. Yes, those who advocate the difference in meaning describe reform as a process, right, of reforming the teachings of Islam, irrelevant of focusing on the interpretation and understanding of the scholars of the past and pious predecessors, while they describe renewal as an attempt to go back to the ways of the pious predecessor by revisiting them and bringing them back. So you find that they say Islah in reality is a reform, and that reform doesn't mean that you have to go back to the early text. Yes, it might mean a reform in terms of using Maqasid, yes, misusing Maqasid, yes, misusing the Masalih, yes, the argument of Masalih to try to modernize. That's what they want, yes, they want modernizing. So there is a group that uses the Islah with that meaning, yes. There's another group that says no, and then they say, when you say, okay, you're saying Islah means that, what is Tajdeed? They say Tajdeed is to go back to, it's a renewal by going back to the ways of Salaf Salihin. So can you see the difference? Others, they said Islah equals Tajdeed. Tajdeed equals Islah, case closed. Case closed. And they said no. Islam means something else. Islam means to reform. It can have a good meaning and bad meaning as well. Reform means that, try to bring new ideas as well, yes, as long as it's according to the Quran and Sunnah, if people are moderate, yes, if they are on the right path. Others, they go further than that, yes. Use masalih, yes, with the purpose to override the text, yes. That is wrong way. Right. Those who advocate the difference in meaning describe reform as a process. Yes, I've already mentioned that. Okay. It is in this difference where reform can be then open to all different individuals. Yes, when we take this meaning of reform, then now it's open to anyone. Yes, it's open to those who are in extreme and those who are too relaxed, yes, and too liberal. Yes. Individuals who can be driven, yes, can then be open to all different individuals who can. Yeah, it is a difference reform who can be driven to reform. It should be to reform the religion based on different leanings and agendas that drive them to it. Right. So to should be there. Yes, driven to. For example, modernists might be humbled by and subjective to the Western thought. What happens to modernists? They just become completely subjective to the Western thought. They can sometimes go further into embracing the Orientalist views, thus ignoring or missing the opportunity to study the classical Muslim thought and scientific legacy. Yes, the classical Muslim scientific legacy. Adopting Western research methodology is fine and excellent. Using Western methodology for research, there is nothing wrong in that. There is nothing wrong. However, forsaking the usuli and al-qawaid al-fiqhiyya based and maqasid tools is a disaster. Say, for example, you want to find out, yes, whether this is a halal or not. Say there is a new case that has come into existence, yes? Yeah. Whether you can use some new item that has come into existence, yes? Can you use it or not? Yes. Now, if you start using the modern research methodologies, and you forsake usul, you forsake qawaid al-fiqhiyya, yes, you forsake what? You forsake Maqasid Sharia, that can spell a disaster. Is that clear? The other problem that happens for these individuals is to accept whatever ideas that generate in the West. The other problem, that's one problem, yes? That if you just hold to one thing, you don't look for usul al-fiqh, yes? Then obviously you will fall into the pitfall, right? One. Then the other problem that is compounding, yes? The other problem that is compounding, yes? There's a problem on top of a problem is the fact that they are already subjective to the Western idea, yes? The West says this, they say, no. You're now making Islam to be, yes, subjective to the idea, yes? Oh, can a woman not wear scarf? Yeah, no, a woman cannot wear scarf, yes? Say, why? Oh, because of this, blah, blah, blah. Is that understood? Yes? We do get that quite often, yes? So, the other problem that happens for these individuals is to accept whatever ideas that generate in the West and fully submit to them, thereafter trying to defend and Islamize those ideas which clearly contradict Islamic law. They go against Islamic law, now they want to Islamize. They say, no, this is part of Islam. You say, no. From the time of the Prophet until of today, the Muslims have never adopted it, yes? And you're trying to say it's part of Islam, yes? So, in reality, it's part of the Western liberal, yes, milieu, yes? So it is just to try to make Islam subjective to that, or their own whims and desires subjective to that. It is an excellent thing to combine between both the traditional Islamic sciences, yes, and ijtihadi tools on one side, and contemporary research methods on the other side. That's an excellent thing. However, preferring the latter to the former can open cans of worms, yes, and is what? Susceptible to errors. The main root of errors is prior subjectivity to the Western thought and ideas and opinions, and thereafter using research to come to a faulty conclusion. Yes, you're already subjective. Yeah, before you even do research. Remember one thing, many people, they decide even before doing research what their conclusion will be. So they will try to go to that conclusion, true or false. Huh? Nobody says, okay, I'll start my research. Many times they say, I started my research and they try to investigate and this and that, blah, 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 to come to this conclusion. They've already made a conclusion beforehand. Huh? And they want, yeah, and they're just going through a journey to go to that conclusion. Yes? Sometimes it happens, isn't it? And they also say, no, no, I've been objective. Huh? They say that, isn't it? I've been objective. Yes? Come on, who you're fooling? Yes? So that is injustice against the religion of Islam, its adherents. While Islam calls for justice, Islam says, no, no. Are you sure? You know, that you have not made up your mind. You're telling everybody what? I've been objective. If you've been objective, that's justice. Yes? But you've already been subjective beforehand. Somebody might have said, you know, foundation, this foundation, that foundation you're working for, yes? Could you do research on this issue, whether girls at the age of 7, should they wear scarves at school or not? Huh? Huh? Are you understanding what I'm trying to imply? Yes? So yes, no, where Islam doesn't allow the parents to force anyone before the age of 7 to pray salah and this and that. Why should they be told to wear scarves? No, no, scarves shouldn't be, yes. Then government, yes, once the foundation has done its research, yes, gives it to the, then you find the Ofsted, yes, to say something instead. Yes, instead of that, yes, instead of what the kids are already doing, yeah, that no, daddy, mummies, they are the ones that are telling them and forcing. Did you go to their houses to listen to whether the vadis, it's there wearing themselves or not, yes? So therefore we will interview each child to ask whether they've been forced or not, because it's not important in Islam before the age of 7 for them to follow, to strictly adhere to the religion. Happens or not? Yeah. So is that justice? No. They've already made up their mind before the research has started, yes? Just to make happy so that they can get more funds. They can get what? More money, yes, from different agencies. Therefore, objectivity, contentment with our academic and religious legacy is a priority. The problem is that those who are doing that is what? In reality, they're not happy with their legacy. There's nothing wrong in adopting modern research methodology. That's a good thing. True or false? Yes? Well, all the qualitative and quantitative research methodologies and this and that, empirical research and this and that. Learn whatever you want to learn. But then you have usul, you have qawaid fiqhiyya, you've got maqasid and everything. Learn all these things. Yes? You have to be happy with the legacy you have. Yes? And you know, the deen that you have, why on earth, this is inferiority complex. Why should you do that? And then what happens is that this subjectivity creates all the problems. Yes? So therefore, objectivity, contentment with our academic and religious legacy is a priority. And there is no wrong in revisiting classical juristic issues and making necessary amendment as this group of reformers suggest. However, employment of all ijtihadi and modern research tools is necessary, and more importantly, objectivity is important as well. Yes? And there is no wrong in doing ijtihad on contemporary issues. However, again, the same tools must be employed, albeit without riding masalih over definite textual evidences, as long as you're not doing that. Yes? Yes? So this is justice, yes? And injustice is when you have already made up your mind, yes, to make happy this person, that person, that person, that person. And they will not be happy. Yes, until they will tell you to do something else, and then you want to make them more happier. Until they say, now you can eat bacon, you will say, okay. True, isn't it? Yeah. They won't be happy until, yes, until you adopt all the things, yes. Why, for God's sake? You have your deen, lakum dinukum waliya deen. You say that this is my deen and yours your deen, yes? True, false. Ijtihad and Maqasid Sharia. Now we are looking at Ijtihad, as I mentioned. It is an undeniable fact that the door of Ijtihad concerning unprecedented cases, Nawazil, is open until the Day of Judgment. If anybody says, no, Shaykh, door of Ijtihad is closed, no. On secondary issues, furu'at, on Nawazil, the door of Ijtihad is open. That's not deniable. Huh? These are secondary issues, small issues, yes? Whether you can get injections during fast. That's a secondary issue. It's not like primary issues that have already been mentioned in Sharia before. Yes? It's a secondary issue. Primary issue is like the number of salah and this and that. These are qat'i. Do you understand me? Primary issues, how many times you have to read a day. That's qat'i. These are primary. Secondary issues are small issues, right? Secondary issues, yes. However, it is important to understand that those who carry out ijtihad in such secondary issues must have the capacity and training to employ it, yes. It's not that any Tom, Dick and Harry should say, I'm a mujtahid. Okay? No problem. Take care. Look after yourself, inshallah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Read also the notes, inshallah. Okay. The knowledge of Maqasid al-Sharia is also important. It is worth stating at this juncture that both Usul al-Fiqh and Maqasid Sharia were classically a joint science. Yes? However, later on, Maqasid Sharia became an independent science. They were together before, thus becoming complementary and supplementary for the former one, meaning for Usul. Therefore, equipping with both the sciences, what? Usul al-Fiqh and Maqasid Sharia, at the same time is necessary to avoid any pitfalls when issuing new unprecedented fatwas. Yes, this is the reason why Shatibi and others, they've said that in unprecedented cases, having Maqasid Sharia helps you with Usul al-Fiqh. Having Maqasid Sharia will help you avoid pitfalls. Furthermore, a mufti needs to take a balanced position in the issues of juristic verdicts. And we've already looked at balanced approach. Is that true? Can you remember? The reader has learned before how that balanced approach is attained. True? We also mentioned about that. Conclusively, it is ideal for the muftis to form a united platform, a juristic institution where all the jurists can assemble, deliberate on the new issues and consult each other and thereafter pass a joint verdict. This shuratic process, yes, this what? It's a shuratic process. So what we are doing, we are calling all the muftis. Oh, we have a problem here. What we are saying? We have a big problem here. You know, we don't know what time we should pray Fajr in summer. What time we should close our fast in summer. The scholars did that. 70 of them muftis, they came together. Yes, scholars, muftis, ulama and mufti, they came together in Bradford in 1983 to discuss all the ijtihads and to come to a conclusion. So this shuratic process is shura, isn't it? You're doing ijtihad through shura. You're doing what? A collective ijtihad. This is what? A collective ijtihad. So this shuratic process will allow everyone to air their views. What will happen? All those people who are sitting in this shura, there might be 70, 80 or even 100. It could be even like a conference. Everyone will be told that, you know, we have this problem. What is your views on that? Yeah, somebody will say, no, this is makruh. Somebody will say, no, this is mubah. Okay, what is your dalil? What is your dalil about it? So we'll allow everyone to air their views, their ara, their views. Is that right? So it will allow them to air their views and Okay. Conclusively, it is ideal for the muftis to come. A juristic institution should be there, where all jurists can assemble, deliberate on the new issues, consult each other, and thereafter pass a joint verdict. This shuratic process will allow everyone to air their views and to thereafter reach a united juristic decision. True? Imam Abu Hanifa, look, remember one thing, the Prophet ﷺ has done that. Where in some areas of ijtihad, in some areas of where Allah gave the Prophet ﷺ a room for ijtihad, he asked the companions. Yes? So it was shuratic. Yes? The fatwa of the Prophet ﷺ thereafter was what? Through a shuratic process, through shura. Yes? Through tashawur, consultation. Take an example of Imam Abu Hanifa. He developed his madhab using shuratic process. Yes? Al-Muwaffaq ibn Ahmad al-Makki states, وضع أبو حنيفة مذهبه شورى بينهم لم يستبد فيه بنفسه دونهم اجتهادا منهم في الدين ومبالغة في النصيحة لله ورسوله وللمؤمنين فكان يلقى المسائل مسألة ويسمع ما عندهم ويقول ما عنده ويناظرهم شهرا أو أكثر حتى يستقر أحد الأقوال فيها ثم يثبتها أبو يوسف في الأصول كلها وهذا يكون أولى وأصوب وإلى الحق أقرب والقلوب إليها أسكن. Imam Abu Hanifa laid down the foundation of his madhab by using the shuratic process. He did not exercise absolutism for himself by excluding others as part of his ijtihad in religion and because of his excessive sincerity towards Allah and his messenger and believers. He would present to his students one juristic issue at a time and would listen to their opinions in that regard, and they would also put input concerning it. They would put their own views regarding it. He would debate and discuss with them for a month or more than a month until one of the statements would become established concerning the issue. Thereafter, Abu Yusuf would place the verdicts within the arena of usul al-fiqh. Yes? This modus operandi is the best and more correct. Who says this? Al-Muwaffaq says this, Ibn Ahmad. It is closer to the truth and the heart's sense comfort in it. Imam Abu Hanifa really did, what Imam Abu Hanifa did was following the footsteps of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who would consult his companions in ijtihadable issues. And that was a reality following the divine command which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَمْرُهُمْ shura bainahum, and their affairs are determined by consultation between them. Now what we have, there is intra-madhab as well as inter-madhahib. Can you see? There's two things. Intra-madhab is within the madhab. Yes? Like for example, within the madhab you will find so many scholars, yes, of different caliber. Like for example, if you say the Hanafi madhab is spread in India, is spread in Turkey, is spread in Iraq, is spread, I'm just giving an example, and is spread in Syria, say for example, and Sham. Now, in all these areas, and to some degree in Egypt, now all these people from different regions, they might come up, there is a problem in front of them, they might come up with a different, I'm just giving an example, a different conclusion altogether. But if they came together and have a conference, that is a what? Intra-madhab, within the madhab discussion. Yes? Inter-madhahib is for all the madhabs out there to come together and have a conference and debate on a new issue. That's what? Inter-madhahib. So we were talking about, intra-madhab, and as well as inter-madhahib consultations concerning new and unprecedented cases are necessary. What are they? Necessary. What are they? Necessary for them to come together. This is known as ijtihad jima'i. What is it known as? Collective ijtihad. Yes, to have formed consensus, because sometimes if all of them agree, it becomes ijma', doesn't it? If all of them agree, what becomes? Ijma, which is good, consensus. Or at least they become a jumhur, isn't it? A majority of ulama agreeing on one issue. Yes, so to help form consensus around them and to restrict multiplicity of juristic opinion. Otherwise, what will happen? On one issue, you'll have about 5-6 opinions. Otherwise, what will have? On one issue, how many? 5-6 opinions. Now, I'll give you a recent example of intra-madhab. This is not inter-madhab, but intra-madhab. Juristic consultation is the meeting that took place on Sunday, the 29th of May, 1983 in the city, should be the city of Bradford in the UK. 70 scholars and muftis met, including more than 100 responsible members of various mosques. They all gathered to discuss concerning the Fajr prayer during the summer months when there is a perpetual twilight. Okay, that you can find, the document can be found there, can be accessed there. Can you see? I've also put, yes. They approved of some of the ijtihads concerning the beginning time of Fajr. They said, okay, Nisful Layl is fine. Yes, there's Aqrabul Bilad, Aqrabul Ayam, and this and that. In the absence of natural, the following was their conclusion. Can you see? 18 degrees should be adopted to calculate Fajr prayers. That's what they said. Okay? In normal days. In the absence of natural phenomenon, determinant for the beginning of Fajr, that is when? In summer, in the northern hemisphere, here in the UK, then Aqrabul Ayyam, the nearest day where the night happened, you can use that and you can keep on, you just replicate, freeze it, yeah, freeze it all the way through, yes? Freeze that time all the way through, that is known as what? Aqrabul Ayyam, should be preferred. They say that is better, yes? Why? Because in that there is what? There is what they call facilitation for the ummah, yes? And again, that facilitation that they're mentioning, in fact, is Maqasid based. Yes? When they say that Aqrabul Ayyam, they're saying all the ijtihads are right. They're not saying it's wrong. But they say Aqrabul Ayyam is better. Why? Because there is facilitation. Because what happens is that, say for example, you've prayed in the earliest time, as Aqrabul Ayyam dictates, then you have about 6 to 7 hours of sleep until the morning, and then you can go to work. Yes? Without any interruption. We here follow Aqrabul Bilad here, right? Central Mosque Aqrabul Ayyam. Okay? So they said that Aqrabul Ayyam should be preferred. Otherwise, it's also fine to Al-Maktum, Aqrabul Bilad, to employ Aqrabul Bilad, the nearest city, or Nisful Layl, yes, method should be adopted. However, they found using Sub'ul Layl, what? The 7th part of night. Sub'ul Layl is to divide the night into how many parts? 7 in summer, because night doesn't happen. And then you say the 7th part is the time for Fajr. It's wrong, because you know the 7th part, say for example, the night happened at 11 o'clock. Yeah? 11.
Is this Maghrib or Isha?
No, you start from Maghrib to the sunrise. There are 7 hours, say for example. 10 o'clock it happened. What? The night happened when? Happened at 10 o'clock, Maghrib. 10. And the Shuruk, meaning the sunrise, happened when? 5. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7 hours. True? So they say between 4 to 5, that is the time you should pray your Fajr. But the problem is, between 4 to 5, it is completely like daylight. Though the sun has not come out, it's completely... Okay, you pray Fajr at that time. Okay, understood, the sun has not come out. What about closing your fast?
You can visually see that.
You can visually see each other.
Because before 4 o'clock, you'll be able to see the skies getting brighter, so obviously Fajr started before that.
Do you understand me? So they said that is for, yeah, what is it? They said this is faulty. What they said? That is what? Faulty. It's weak. The weakest opinion. But if somebody is following it, do you understand me? For some reason, that's, yeah. But I'm saying individually, that's between him and Allah, right? But obviously, when it comes to fatwa, it's public. We have to take more precaution because it is fast at the end of the day. We want to save you from you not being in the state of fast. Then, or otherwise, maybe you might be spared, but the ulama will be asked, why did you, yes? Huh? True. But these are all ijtihads. Yeah? So they said the last one is not good. Which one? Subul layl. Okay? So they discouraged the usage of, they said that is the weakest position should not be acted upon. What? Should not be acted upon. This is an excellent example where scholars and mufti can use a common platform to discuss unprecedented cases and reach consensus in their regard. In their regard, yes? This shuratic process in making ijtihad is also known as al-ijtihad al-jima'i, collective ijtihad. This agreement was reached, this one, yes, was reached thanks to all scholars joining forces to come up with an agreed solution to the problem that affected many at that time. So they didn't say that all these ijtihads are wrong. They accepted all the ijtihads. Akrabul Ayyam, Akrabul Bilad, yes, these are ijtihads that were done before. You understand me? Nisful Layl is an ijtihad that was done before. Subul Layl, but then they said out of these the most preferred is what? Aqrabul Ayyam. Aqrabul Ayyam is the preferred. But others are also fine. Yes? Others are also fine. However, Subul Layl is the weakest. Yes? And should not be acted upon.
So can I just ask, Al-Maktoum, which city are they?
Al-Maktoum use Aqrabul Bilad. Okay?
So which, like this is the nearest city, so what city do they go by?
Lyon, no, there is a city in Paris, near Paris.
South of France.
South of
Lyon, France, yeah.
I don't know, it's Lyon or one of the cities, Lyon. I can't remember. Is it Lyon? Yeah. It's one of the cities, that's where you go. Because there night happens, so you just take there.
I'm sure the more southern part of England also night occurs there as well.
No, it doesn't.
I think scientifically, no. I think it has to be below the horizon, the 18 degrees for the night.
It should be 18 degrees. It has to go up to 18 degrees. So in some places it might go up to 12 degrees. Some places might
but
go...
But the sunset is 12 degrees. When the sun sets, but the total complete night is 18 degrees.
Yeah, when there is a full depression.
Yeah, so that is 18, but 12 degrees or roughly 12 degrees is below the horizon is the sunset. But 18 is complete night, total night.
Is that clear? Okay, so moving, this is agreement was reached thanks to what? All scholars joining forces to come up with an agreed solution to the problem that affected many at that time. Otherwise, what would be, people will say, usually it is sometimes the general public asking, why is it there, this, So if they come together, they can say, all these ijtihads are fine, but the weakest of all is that Subul Layl, yes, but the most preferred is this. So anyone can adopt any of these ijtihads, right? Yeah, but as for the last one, should not be acted upon. Does that clear? Yeah. Just as collective intra-madhab consultations are possible, similarly collective inter-madhahib, yeah, that is bringing all the madhahib, juristic meetings are possible to discuss new and unprecedented cases in fiqh and reach unanimous agreement. This al-ijtihad al-jima'i allows the scholars to assemble at a conference, meeting or convention and so on to deliberate on the fiqh issues, exchange views, think and reach an agreeable conclusion. This agreed conclusion can then be a majority view or a majority-backed fatwa accepted by the muftis and readily taken on board by the Muslim masses. This also limits differences in fatwa issues, yes? Fatwa issuances, differences in fatwa issuances, it should be, and also one view allows one view, okay, allows also and always also and or allows, sorry, I'm reading wrongly, or allows one view to widely
To be, I think.
wait a second, or allows one view
To be widely preferred.
to be, yes, widely preferred, yes, you're right, to all this I just wrote a few minutes before Maghrib, right? I just finished just on time. To all other views out there on a specific issue. Inshallah, this will be edited afterwards, okay? This good practice is well supported in terms of Maqasid Sharia and Masali, yes? Conclusively, if these mentioned areas are tackled, then undoubtedly there are many good outcomes that can be envisaged for the near future for the Ummah, inshallah. So, these are how many pages we have done altogether? 55 pages in these 10 weeks. May Allah accept it, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now we will be giving the brothers, inshallah. I don't have it here with me, but we will give you the certificates. And the brothers online who are not available with us here, for them we'll have a small exam, and after that we'll issue the certificate for them as well. For them as well, inshallah. Okay. Any questions you have? No? Good.
So the intra-madhab consultation, from which madhab was the word?
Any madhab. Say for example, all the Shafi'i.
This the one that occurred in 1983. So was it?
I think it was more of the Hanafis, right, okay, who got together. But one thing you have to remember: the conclusion that they have come up with is also accepted by the Hanbali or Shafi'i or any other madhabs. Remember that. The conclusion that they came up with. Right? Because it's a very strong conclusion. They said, okay, all the ijtihads are accepted, but this is the most preferred ijtihad. Yes? And the thing is that because they were a majority, other madhabs follow, they end up following. The reason why they did that was because at that moment in time, now we do have other madhabs, right? But in 1983, you're saying the main and the majority was the Hanafi following. This is the reason in the UK, because it was here in the UK. Had they done in Europe, then you're talking about other madhabs coming together. Yes? But what's happened is because they took that step, bold step, those who came later on, they said, well, this is fine. So if you're from Hanbali madhab, Shafi madhab, you'll take that same route. Yes?
I suppose the other thing is Bradford is, I think, majority of Pakistani anyway.
It is because Bradford is central in the case. In reality, there's Manchester nearby. There are other cities, but these scholars, they didn't only come from Bradford. They came from London, they came from Manchester, they came from Leeds, they came from Dewsbury, they came from all other places. You're talking about 70, and it's in that time. Now, if you were going to do something like this, would be about 500. True? If you were going to do that now, would be how many? 500 to 1,000 or more than that. And it's not only that, it wouldn't be intra-madhab, it would be what? Inter-madhab, if we were going to discuss the same issue now. True? Does that make sense? Yeah.
If you do inter, that would be, outcome would be different than this one, do you think?
If you did inter instead of intra, no, the outcome would be the same. The outcome at the end, because what they did was they accepted all the ijtihads. So inter wouldn't say, oh, we reject all the ijtihads, unless they have the dalil for it. But you're talking about 70 people, they would be having the same.
If you allow me, I can add one point. Because what I have seen in the beginning, that all they have differences in
their Rasul.
Where is the real light is setting in.
Yeah.
Some say it's 17.5, some say 18 degrees, some say 19 degrees. So more or less, everybody agreed to that. The actual light is when sun sets 18 degrees below the horizon. So I think,
like for example, at the moment, the timetables that are made, There's al-Qura. You've got the Egyptian one, and there's Karachi as well, isn't it? We have about 4 or 5 different institutions, North America. No. All these different institutions, they're making timetable, and many times they have done their own observations, because the timetables are based on observation. And according to those observations, they've said that at this degree, the night happens. Because you know what it is, Allah says, for us to know when Fajr starts, yes? So they go out and they look, yes? And Fajr, we know very well, it is al-bayad al-mustatil, yes? It is that white thread, yes? Khaytul abyadu min al-khaytil aswadi min al-fajr. When that comes, that is the true Fajr. There is 2 types of Fajr. There is what is known Fajr Kadhib and Fajr Sadiq. Fajr Kadhib is the light that comes out, yes, but then it shoots up, and then it starts appearing, and when it appears, then comes a finer white light, yes, it's like a thread. Subhanallah, look how Allah has described, yes, like a thread. Any person who is sleeping at that time is in ghafla, yes, only Allah can tell us, yes, very scientific, yes, like a thread when that light comes. Now people go and they observe when that thread comes out, and then they use a calculation, yes, that it happens at 18 degrees when the sun is at 18 degrees. Do you understand me? So then they say, okay, 18 degrees everywhere. But then what happens is that there are other factors that can affect that phenomena to happen, yes? That is, say for example, light pollution, yes? With light pollution you might be 2-3 minutes or few minutes different, because you know you're not able to see. That happens to appear beforehand, yes? So obviously that then makes a small slight changes in the timetable, yes? So some, they said no, it's between 17.5, yes? Others said 18. Others just, they went for 19 degrees just for precaution or something, I don't know. Some have gone to 19 degrees, but 19 degrees is quite a lot. So, you know, these degrees do give that small little change in terms of timetabling.
So that mean
18 degrees is something that has, you know, I think it has been historically been widely accepted for the Muslim, I think Masoudi, others great, you know, those astronomers. You're talking about, they were about 200, 300 Hijri. They were there since that time until today. They were great astronomers who observed, and they all were going towards that 18 degrees argument. So there is a good number, but you know, it is a scientific phenomena, you know, so that's how it is.
So if we jump from 18 to 19, would that make Fajr later or earlier for you?
You know, do me a favor, right? Go into Islamic Finder, I'm just giving you, right? And there, go for the timetable, right? And then you're able to put the degrees. Put 12 degrees and you will see the difference. Put 15 degrees, you will see the difference. Put 18 degrees, you will see the difference. Put 19 degrees, you will see the difference. There will be a difference in terms of time. Yeah. So, does that put you in some kind of doubt at this point?
No, I was just wondering that if you increase the degrees, I wasn't sure whether that would make Fajr earlier or later.
Find out. You'll find out how it happens, because what happens is that, you know, when we're talking about degrees compression, right? The further the sun is down, it becomes earlier, right? when the sun starts coming further up, it makes it more later for Fajr. Yeah. If it is otherwise, you can come and tell me that it's otherwise.
Okay.
Okay, take care, sir. Any questions?